Hi everyone, it's Miss Fee. I'll be taking you through surviving a toxic work environment. Many times when we apply for a job, we don't care about the work environment or the culture. All we'll be simply looking for will be getting a job. And then it is when we have gotten the job and we are already in the job that we then realize that there are certain things that matter. Because if you're going to work for a toxic work environment, it means you're going to spend your life miserable. You're not going to be happy because the work environment will be draining you. So workplace is where we spend most of our time at. Imagine you're working a full-time job, which means you're spending roughly 7 to 9 hours a day at work. Simple mathematics is that out of the 24 hours, then 9 hours is strictly for work. Then the remaining hours, it means then you're going to do what? You'll be sharing that with your family, and you also have to sleep for 6 to 8 hours. And then the hours where you have to get ready to go to work, and then spare time for the traffic. So it means we spend a lot of time at work. So you can see that it's very vital for us to have a very friendly work environment so that we can be happy, because if you're going to be spending a lot of your time in an environment that you don't like, then it eventually affects you. It eventually affects your personality, because what we normally underestimate is that we normally believe that we can change people, but we forget that sometimes people can change us. Because imagine, if you are going to an environment, if you can't beat them, then what is going to happen? It means you're going to join them, because then you're going to lose on who you are, or you're going to lose your personality to become the person that is described by the organization that you are working for. So if you're working for a toxic environment, it means you'll eventually become toxic yourself. If you're going to work for a friendly environment, it means even in life you'll become what? You'll become a friendly person. So then it becomes very difficult when you get a job and you realize that it's a toxic environment. Sometimes we don't have any other option. You cannot quit, because quitting is not an option. So what do you do if you cannot quit? It means you have to develop survival skills so that you can keep on working in that environment. And then you know that the more miserable you are, the more stressed you are, is somehow going to affect your health, because stress leads to so many diseases like heart attack or heart problems. So then if you are forced to work for that particular organization because you need to earn a living, how are you going to survive it? How will you make sure that at least after the 8 or 7 to 9 hours of working, you then become a happier person? Spending 8 hours miserable, or maybe becoming happy at work, though the environment is toxic. So I'm going to teach you, or I'm going to take you through 7 things that you can use that I think can work. They have worked for me, but I believe they can also work for you. One is to trust yourself and your instinct. You are the most important person than the person next to you. I'll repeat that. You are the most important person than the person next to you. So never be intimidated by the person who's next to you. Trust yourself with your secrets. Trust your hard work, because your hard work will speak for you. Deeds or actions, they speak louder than words. Therefore, trust yourself, trust your instinct, trust yourself with your secrets, and trust that your hard work will define who you are. Learn to listen to your instinct. Remember, we all have this inner voice which guides us to do certain things or not to do them. In a toxic workplace, there's this culture of backbiting, whereby people will be setting traps for others. And what is it that you're going to do to make sure that you're not going to fall into that particular trap? The best thing is to make sure that you do what? You do calculated moves. You listen to your instinct. If your instinct doesn't sit well with a particular action, then it means what? Don't do it. Trust yourself. Trust your judgment. If your judgment is saying do not do this, then don't do it. Another survival skill that you can use, number 2, is nurture your spirituality. It doesn't matter how you define spirituality, because spirituality, it might be linked to our religions, our morals, but at the end of the day, we all have something that gives us our energy, or something that gives us a sense of life. So spirituality is the source of your energy, and the more you're charged, then more in terms of spirituality, then the more energy you'll have. How do you nurture your spirituality then? The first tip is to forgive everyone. It doesn't matter what they have done to you. You realize that if you're working for a toxic environment, sometimes they can use you as a scapegoat, but then make sure that you're going to do what? You learn to forgive each and every person, because if you forgive them, then you'll never think of them. When you get home, you'll forget about them. So forgive each and every person. It doesn't matter what they've done to you, just forgive them. This will give you peace of mind, and then focus on the positive, or always have a positive judgment. Positivity is very good, because then even if it's something that maybe is an ill action that was made towards you, if you view it using a positive mind, it means you'll judge it, and then you'll become happier than when you are negative to it. Because if you are negative, then you'll eventually become stressed. So focus on the positive, or always have a positive judgment as opposed to a negative one. For example, your boss or your colleague may blame you for something that you didn't do. What can you do here in the scenario? Here, just explain to them in a very calm manner, and at the end of your statement, just offer an apology, so that what? The case is closed. But at least they know that they are blaming you for the wrong thing. But then at the end of the day, you're also apologizing for the sake of what? For the sake of peace. It's not that what? You are a coward. No. You want peace for yourself, because you are nurturing what? You are nurturing your spirituality. The moment you go back home without apologizing, you'll be thinking about the incident at home, and then it will steal your peace. It will disturb you. And the best thing is, after apologizing, it means you're going to forget about it, the same way you forgive others and you forget what they've done. So the other thing is, do not dwell on what they say, but just know that they have their own problems. Sometimes people will say things about you, or sometimes people do certain things to you. It's because they themselves are having problems in their lives. So then it's human anyway, that when you're having problems, or if things are not going well, you can blame someone. So if they blame you, know that, you know what, they have their own problems. And they're only using me so that they can feel better, because they are blaming me. They have someone to blame. And then the other important thing that you need to do in terms of your nurturing your spirituality is to meditate. You can do this even lunchtime, when you're having your lunch break. It doesn't matter where you'll be having your lunch. If you have a canteen, you can sit in the corner alone and meditate. Or you can go into your car and then meditate during lunchtime, or every time when you are free. And then when you are home, make sure that you do a lot of this. You do a lot of meditating. And then the other thing is that I'll encourage you to do is to read things that nurtures your spirituality. Say maybe you are religious, then read religious books, listen to religious music, things that will nurture your spirituality. Listen to motivational talks that will actually enhance your spirituality. Do things that will nurture your spirituality a lot. Whether you're going to be reading, whether you'll be listening to music. And then remember to do acts of kindness. Kindness is key. Be compassionate to others, because after doing something so good to others, that smile is fulfilling, and then it will mean you will also smile back, and then you'll have that sense of fulfillment in your life. The third survival skill is to socialize less with your colleagues. They are not your friends, especially if you're working for a toxic environment. Make sure that they don't get to understand who you are. Make sure that they don't get to understand your personal life. You meet them at work, you do your work, that's it. Go home and then chill with your friends. Go for a drink, or go for a party, go to a nightclub, whatever, with your friends or your family. but do not do it with who? With your colleagues. Because the more you socialize with them, the more you're going to do what? You're going to disclose about you. Sometimes there are certain weaknesses that you don't want other people to know, or there are certain things about your life that you don't want other people to know, especially those people who don't like you, or those people that you think they can use that against you. So the best thing is to do what? Socialize less with them, or avoid socializing with them. As much as we spend a lot of time at work, if the environment is toxic, then have a social work or a social cycle outside work. Socialize with the people who will make you laugh, and forget about the toxic work environment that you have, or the workplace that you have. The other reason you need to socialize with you need not to socialize with your colleagues is that you might end up like them. Like I said in the beginning, if you can't beat them, then you're going to join them. So you might end up being a bully. Maybe you're working in an environment which is full of bullies. And then the more you are hanging around with those people, then the survival skill to you will become what? Being like them and being a bully. And imagine you're going to get another job. Are you going to be a bully to other people? No, you don't want to be that. So make sure that you spend less time with your colleagues, or you don't socialize with them. You just do work with them, and it ends there. The fourth survival skill is distress before going home. Because when you go home, you don't want to bring negative energy to your family, or you don't want to bring negative energy even if you're alone, because if you bring in stress home, it means you're not going to sleep, you're not going to enjoy your favorite program on the television. So depending on your commitments, you can do activities which make you happy. Say for example, before you go home, you can go to the gym, you can go for a sport practice, singing practice, you can go for a club meeting, or when you're driving home, you can be playing your favorite music, or when you're walking home, you can be playing your favorite music, so that by the time you get home, you are happier. You have distressed, you've forgotten everything about that what transpired in that particular day at work. This will help you to be able to enjoy your time at home. If you have a family, it means you won't arrive home grumpy. You want to arrive, and then your kids or your spouse or whatever, they see a smile in your face, not a grumpy face. Because if you are grumpy, remember, they're also going to be grumpy. So you are going to transfer this negative energy to them. So make sure that when you get home, you are a smiley person, you are a happy person. So this is why you need to distress before you go home. So depending on your schedule, if you are forced to go, you're forced to go home immediately after work, or maybe you have to pick kids on your way from work, then make sure that upon arrival you're going to engage in a particular activity. It might be playing a game with your family or with your kids. It might be going for a short walk, so that you do what? You get to distress. Or sometimes you might have a routine of maybe saying at this particular time you'll be watching the sunsets, you'll be doing something, so that you're going to distress, and by the time you're having dinner, you've forgotten everything about work. And then the fifth survival skill is where possible, work from home. This one cannot be overemphasized if you want to escape the toxic environment. So if you have the opportunity to say yes, can I work from home, then do it, because working from home is heaven on earth. I can't overstress it. And then the sixth point, do not overemphasize your views on any subject. Do not overemphasize your views, because sometimes when you're overemphasizing your point, people will judge you differently, or maybe people will distort your message. So pay attention to what you are saying during meetings or discussions, whatever. And then I encourage you, think before you comment, or you make any comments. Make sure that they're very diplomatic, so that people would not understand your views. Make sure that you are very neutral, you are very diplomatic in your comments. And then when you're just having conversations, maybe the conversation is whereby they're discussing the management of the organization, or they're discussing the boss, or they're discussing whatever. When they insist on you commenting, or they insist on your opinion, let it be positive. Say something positive. Don't say anything negative, because they might misinterpret that, or they might say it to the management, because You remember, in a toxic environment, there's what? There's a lot of backbiting. And then the last point, the 7th point, go on holiday with loved ones. I mean, we all love holidays, eh? I wish someone can pay for mine. Save and go on holidays with the people who value and love you for who you are. People who will make you laugh. People who will make you just be yourself. And then it will enable you to meet people, to see new places, to eat new cuisine, and do everything that make life fun, because it's all about having fun. Remember, life, we live once, eh? So make sure that you have fun. So every time, go on holiday when there's a vacation, or there's bank holidays, or whatever you call them. Go on holiday with the people that you love, with the people that make you happy, so that you get to do what distress. And then when you come back, the beauty of it is that you have memories. You'll have taken loads of pictures, you'll have made friends in your holidays. And then every morning, make sure that you're going to update your status, be it on WhatsApp, be it on Facebook, be it on Twitter, with your pictures when you're on holiday. And then that way it forces you to be happy, because if you are updating your status with happy moments every day, then it will reflect, because when you look at your phone every moment, or every there and there, then you realize that, you know what, I remember when I was in Paris, I remember when I was in Budapest, I remember when I was in Botswana. This is what I saw, and this is beautiful. I remember when I was doing the safari drive. I remember when I was doing the bungee jumping. So all these things, they will make you happy, because when you are cherishing the memories of good times, then you tend to forget about what is happening around you. When you look at your laptop, sometimes just take a break and just browse through your photos, so that you can do what? You can uplift your spirit. If you like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.